from Relay FM, this is Connected, episode 441. Today's show is brought to you by Squarespace, Things from Culture Code, and NetSuite. I'm one of your hosts, Federico Vitici, and it's my pleasure to introduce the returning regular co-host of Connected, Mr. Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen. Welcome back.
Hey, Federico. How are you?
I'm good. We missed you. How are you?
I am I'm
Okay.
good. It's good to be
That's
back.
Good energy right there. Okay.
Yes. And I am...
Keep
Hey,
quiet.
you've been introduced yet.
You just cannot do it. You just cannot do it.
He can't be contained. We're also joined by Mike Hurley.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I feel like you had something specific to say to me. It's like, hey, Mike.
No, I don't. We have real-time follow-up.
Uh-oh.
Like super real-time happened 10 minutes ago, but we were doing the pre-show. iOS 16... Yes, GetConnectPro.co. iOS and iPadOS 16.4 Beta 4 are both out for developers, and I guess also watchOS. tvOS and the HomePod OS betas were released yesterday for whatever reason. iOS... Yeah, iOS, iPadOS, and watchOS are out now. I already have 16.4 Beta 4 on my phone. I don't see anything new. I just assume they're wrapping up this release.
This was good follow-up then.
Well, I just wanted to tell you.
16.4.4 is out, and there's nothing new.
I'm just gonna tell you, it's out. Go here, go visit Software Update. You're gonna find it.
Get the bits.
Get some fresh hot bits on your device. I am preparing for update on my iPad Pro. I'll let you know in a few minutes if I see anything new. I don't suppose I will, but I'll still let you know. End of the real-time follow-up.
Do you think they fixed Stage Manager?
Yes, they fixed it all. They made every window resizable, and it's all in there in the beta 4. This very specific beta. It fixes Stage Manager, yes.
Apple is in on the long thigh.
I know, it took him so long.
Fine. Apple
had and it may still be the top. Anyways, at some point during the yellow iPhone release, which already feels like it was 1,000 years ago, there was an illustration on Apple.com of a person with a big yellow phone stepping over some buildings, and their thigh is magnificent and long.
It's the longest thigh. They would be the thigh to beat, let me tell you that.
But it's cheating, it's made by Apple, so it's
That right there is the thigh to beat.
Yeah, that's a massive thigh.
And then
just
yesterday Apple published a video called Hello Yellow, just an advertisement for the yellow iPhone 14. Using the same illustration, but now it moves and has music and stuff, and you can see the long thigh in action. So Apple clearly is following our lead once again.
Long thigh, tiny head. That's my ideal person right there. Love it.
That's the ideal human form.
Yeah, it's the golden ratio of the human form.
Long thigh.
You got yourself a long thigh, a tiny head. You're set. Perfect.
Good. You're good.
Yeah.
Moving on to AR VR. Ben wrote in. This is fascinating. Could Apple use the Apple Watch for more precise hand tracking with the headset? They do have precise hand tracking for the Apple Watch for accessibility use.
Yeah.
It's called Assistive Touch. This is a series of gestures you can use to navigate your Apple Watch. And so some of the examples are you can tap your index finger and thumb. You can do that twice. You can close your hand in a fist. And the watch can monitor and I guess recognize when that happens and then translate those to actions on the screen. A really cool system. And, Ben tied it to this headset. And I think the idea of using the Apple Watch itself for this probably doesn't make sense because as Mike wrote in the show notes, are you going to wear 2 Apple Watches? Like Underscore does.
You stole my...
I credited you. Hat tip Mike Hurley.
No, you said the honor. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you stole it. I wanted to be the one to eviscerate Ben's feedback. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm not eviscerating his feedback. I think his feedback is good.
I wanted to say this is one of those scenarios where you see one thing and just like it must be connected to the other thing. It's just like, what are you gonna do? Like, you only do hand tracking on one hand,
on your dominant hand. What if they could use this assistive touch with something like their inside-out tracking, or you think they're going to have hand controllers? Maybe they'll have hand controllers. Who knows?
Well, no, because the what's going on there? It's actually using the sensors because they're attached to your wrist, and it's noticing physical changes in your hand movements. Like, it's nothing to do with cameras or whatever.
But could they? I mean, they've built all that. It was an interesting thing to touch on, because I think some of the latest rumors are like, you're going to type in the air. It's like, what are you doing, Apple? Everyone has hand controllers for a reason. 2 Apple Watches, though. That's why the headset's so expensive, is it comes with 2 Apple Watches in the box. Think about that.
It's like there was previously a rumor that it would require AirPods Pro to work. So imagine if it's like, yeah, you can use this, but you need to buy 2 Apple Watch Ultras and AirPods Pro.
Yeah.
So it's actually $5,000 by the time you've got all the stuff that you need, which reminds me, Federico, of the original PlayStation VR, where it's like, oh yeah, just buy the headset. You also need the camera and the Move ones, which no one can buy.
Ramon says 2 Apple Watch Series 3. That's why they quit selling it. They were putting them in the boxes for the headset.
I mean, you'll be lucky if it comes with. You know what they'll probably do? They're gonna put a cable in it because it's gonna run on battery power. But if you're like, it's gonna be a super short cable, like a 90-centimeter cable. If you want a slightly longer cable, it's gonna be like $70 from the Apple Store. Like, what if I want to put the battery pack on my couch and I want to have like a 2-meter cable or a 3-meter cable? That's going to be an extra upgrade from the Apple Store.
Timothy also wrote in about the AR VR stuff, just complimenting you, Federico, about using these products and kind of making the real like opportunity for your mind to be changed. I think the 3 examples he gave opened the door to a world of new apps. It's just the kind of thing you have to try first.
Oh, thank you, Timothy. Yeah,
so good job. It's nice.
Thank you, appreciate it. That was my goal. Yeah.
Big news, everyone. Spotify Hi-Fi.
Do you know when?
Announced in February 2021 is still coming. Quote from The Verge. This is, so we announced it, but then the industry changed for a bunch of reasons. Soderstrom
for one
said.
reason.
We'll get to that one reason in a minute. So this is a quote from Spotify co-president Gustav Soderstrom.
I think it's SodaStream is what you're looking for.
Oh my God.
There you go. Thank you for saying that joke, so I didn't have to say it, and therefore you're the bad one. Soderstrom said on the latest episode of the podcast Decoder, "We are going to do it, but we're going to do it in a way where it makes sense for us and for our listeners. The industry changed and we had to adapt. We want to do it in a way where it works for us from a cost perspective as well. I'm not allowed to comment on our label agreements nor on what other players in the industry did for obvious reasons." Basically, what happened here is Apple introduced lossless and made it free.
Yeah.
Which is clearly not what Spotify was going to do. Spotify also does not have spatial audio of any kind. And so The Verge in this article was this article written by Jay Peters and Chris Welch at The Verge were like suggesting that maybe Spotify will do some kind of like high-end audio plan that would include these features, and you pay more for it. I would still say that's probably not a great idea because like everyone else is doing it for free. Like Amazon does it for free. Apple's doing it for free. I mean, obviously it's clear why these companies can, because this is not their business. This is Spotify's business. So, talking about spatial audio and stuff, I cannot recommend enough a recent episode of the Vergecast where Nilay Patel interviews Patrick, is it Spence? I'm trying to find the name in the article now. I really apologize. Patrick Spence, who's the CEO of Sonos.
Yeah.
And Giles Martin.
Yes.
Who is George Martin's son and legendary record producer who works for Sonos, which I didn't know was a thing.
Wow, okay.
He is Sonos' like head of sound design and has worked there for years because they just introduced 2 new products, the Era 100 and the Era 300. And so basically they spend a ton of time talking about the these new products and spatial audio because Giles Martin also consults with Universal, so he is doing spatial audio from both sides. It's fascinating.
You touched on this, but I want to circle back to it. I think it really shows Spotify's position being kind of fragile because Apple and Amazon, like, they can absorb these costs in their other lines of business, right? I can't imagine Apple loses money on anything they do, but clearly moving to the higher bit rate and encoding and everything, like, clearly that is costing them something in terms of labor and bandwidth and everything. But they can take the hit because the margins are built in and they have other lines of business, right?
I actually think the cost is to the record labels.
Maybe.
I think that's where the cost is going. Because that's what Spotify's hinting at.
Maybe,
right?
But wherever the money ends up going, the point is this is all Spotify has. And so they can't like leverage other parts of the business against a decision here. And so they're kind of stuck, which stinks if you're Spotify.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, they cannot even charge for a more premium experience, like a more boutique experience, because like Apple and Amazon are doing it for free. And those are, especially Apple is the big player that Spotify is going up against. And so obviously you cannot go higher than high-res lossless because like it's a silly thing. Like that's the sort of the top quality file format that you need to match. And Apple is not charging for it. So if you're Spotify, you're already in trouble because you're like, well, our biggest competitor put it out for free, so now we cannot ask people for money. One potential approach could be, well, what if you really go after the audiophile community and you try to sort of design this more boutique, this more premium experience around lossless music and high resolution lossless music. And the thing is, I just don't see Spotify doing that. Like for example, Qobuz, a music streaming service for audiophiles that we mentioned here on the show before. They are a relatively small company, but it's been around for years and they have their own audience. They're very specialized because they had the idea of combining a music streaming service, which by itself is not differentiated at all in this market anymore. And it's a music streaming service with different tiers of lossless music that you can pay for. And high-res, of course, is the more expensive one. But in addition to that, they had the insight of doing a magazine. So like you also get editorial content, like deep dives into albums, artist interviews, and all that sort of stuff. And they have a digital store where you can buy albums for your own personal music collection. So you can keep them in high-res, sort of like FLAC or other formats, I don't recall. So the insight is, well, we're just going to own the space and we're going to go after the super fan of this kind of stuff. And the problem is Spotify is not the kind of company. So they wanted to offer this as a premium add-on for the mainstream Spotify service, and now they cannot do that anymore. But they also cannot put together a more, niche offering because that's just not in Spotify's DNA. They want big numbers, they want tons of people, they want tons of users. So now they're stuck. And when they're saying it's coming eventually, I think it's going to be eventually. Eventually meaning when they can figure out how to put it out for free.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. With Squarespace, you can stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience, or sell anything, products, services, even content. With Squarespace, you can use insights to grow your business. Have you ever wondered where your site visits and sales come from? Which channels are the most effective? Well, Squarespace lets you analyze all of that. Once you've got that data, you can improve your website and build a marketing strategy based on your top keywords or your most popular products and content. With Squarespace, their integrated features and useful guides when it comes to SEO tools are just top-notch. A lot of SEO tools are confusing or hard to understand, or you got to pay more to unlock certain insights. With Squarespace, it's all built in. And those also apply to Squarespace email campaigns, so you can see how your emails are doing out in the real world as you work on getting visitors to turn into email subscribers to turn into customers. I love building on top of Squarespace. It's always my go-to when helping somebody with a project or starting something new, maybe here at Relay FM, because it is so flexible and so powerful. If you are ready to get started, head to squarespace.com/connected for a free trial with no credit card required. When you're ready to launch, use the offer code CONNECTED to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain name. Once again, that's squarespace.com/connected, and the code CONNECTED will get you 10% off your first purchase, and it will show your support for the show. Our thanks to Squarespace for their support of Connected and Relay FM.
So 2 years ago, Apple bought a classical music streaming service named PrimePhonic and announced that they would be launching a standalone app for Apple Music subscribers by the end of 2022. It's now March 2023, and this app is currently available for pre-order on the iPhone. So it's here, boys. Apple Music Classical. Are you ready to rock out some Bach?
Can't wait to do it. I'm gonna be, lining up for March 28th. No, but seriously, I mean, this is not for me.
I feel like of the three of us, you would maybe be the one who would be most interested.
I'm gonna play around with it because it's.
Well, Steven might, because this was the music of his childhood.
Yeah, right. I mean, his high school memories, with some Mozart and Tchaikovsky. I mean, it's all over that kind of stuff. I am gonna check it out because I'm keen to see what they did in terms of mixing and matching. Like one of the things about PrimePhonic and sort of the promise of Apple Music Classical is like different ways to browse the same piece by conductor, by orchestra, because classical music has different requirements than regular pop music. And so I'm gonna check it out, if only from a design perspective. I want to see what they've done, and the podcasts that they should have, the interviews, the editorial curation. I am gonna be playing around with this. Obviously, I don't normally listen to classical music, so this is not for me. But I'm also gonna be on the lookout for like expert opinions. There's a few Mac Stories people that I know of that have been waiting for this. So I think this is really interesting. Probably took longer than expected. To rebuild the service and come out 2 years later, and it's pre-order iPhone only, and they haven't even committed to a Mac or iPad version yet, but to an Android one they have.
That is perhaps the most surprising part of this for me, is that the Mac and iPad are just left out in the cold. I get that most people listen to most of their music on their iPhone. I think that's probably true, but this type of music listener, this type of consumption is a little bit different than I think, how the three of us listen to music, and not having on the Mac and the iPad like limits those options for people. And it's like, also, it's 2 years. Like, what are you even doing?
I had a theory on App Stories, I think, last week.
It was in App Stories Plus, in fact.
App Stories Plus. Okay, so I'm just gonna mention it here for free, unconnected. My theory is that they're going to do an Android version for a couple of reasons. The first one is, if folks that have an Android phone, because of the nature of Android, and because most Android phones, if not all Android phones at this point, have a USB-C port, it's much, much easier and more versatile than the iPhone and iOS to use external equipment like an external DAC and good headphones to enjoy this kind of music than with an iPhone. You just have much more freedom in terms of hardware that you can connect to your phone. You can use high-resolution Bluetooth codecs. Those are also a thing that you can do on Android, like LDAC and aptX HD, I think it's the name. You just have more freedom. And the second theory, sort of related to this, is Android, it's not just on phones, it also runs on those sort of dedicated audiophile portable music players, such as the one that I have. So folks who maybe have their own personal music collection and they have a dedicated portable music player, like for example, my Astel & Kern one. I used to have a Sony Walkman one, and then I upgraded to one made by a company called Astel & Kern, and it runs on Android. And because it's Android, you can install Apple Music, you can install Tidal, you can install Rune, which I have in my home. And so making Apple Music Classical on Android also means you're going after that niche market of people who have an Android-powered device, and the theory should be that on that sort of device, you will be able to install Apple Music because, with the software update, the Apple Music app could be certified by the likes of Sony, Aston & Kern, FiiO, which is another company that makes these devices. They're all based on Android, and so now you can enjoy classical music on your dedicated music device. So I think that's why they're doing it on Android second.
I think this is a fascinating theory with a perspective I never would have had, right? So I think it's good that you have it and can bring it to the show. But nevertheless, it surprises me that if that is the case, that they would care more about that than iPad.
Does it surprise you?
No, it does. It does. I know. I get it. I get the joke, right? But I just kind of can't get my head around why there is. So, for the Mac, whatever, right? You know what I mean? Whatever, right?
But for the iPad too, whatever.
This is there's a history of this, right? Just apps on iOS and they're not on the Mac. But it's just super weird to me that they've yet to they don't have an iPad app, nor is there any news of one coming, but there is news of an Android app coming. And it's just it just priority-wise just sounds so weird to me, but there's obviously something that I'm missing. Obviously, I think part of it is what you're saying, Federico, that this is Prime Phonic driving this. But we were talking about it's an upgrade, and someone wrote in to say Prime Phonic had an iPad app and a Mac app. So what's going on? At some point they thought it was important when Prime Phonic, because you assume, right, Prime Phonic is developing this. The Prime Phonic team that was bought by Apple is making this. Right? You would assume, because otherwise, why'd they do it, right? So it's kind of like Beats, right? When they brought Beats in, had the Beats team make Apple Music. It's probably the Prime Phonic team making Apple Music Classical. So it's just I don't know, it's strange. Maybe maybe it's just it's as simple as it is on the face of it. They're obviously late making the app, and so they just prioritized, and so maybe they'll come later, but they've fallen by the wayside for now. But it's still just kind of sad.
Yeah. I did not have it being announced as a App Store pre-order. I think that was the way this was going to go.
I don't even know why they did that. No, there was they didn't put anything on the newsroom, right? So there's no press release, but they put it up as a pre-order.
If you look at the Apple newsroom, you know that there's plenty of space also for this kind of announcement. They put a lot of
crap.
I didn't want to say that, but they put a lot of content on the newsroom. And I mean, this should have at least, be...
No, but it's just like any company, right? Sometimes they're just putting up things which just few people care about. But they put them up anyway, right? Because it's press releases.
And they won't put the one thing that I really want to know on the newsroom.
When is WWDC?
When is WWDC, Apple?
Yeah.
Maybe they got to get this out the door first, and then they can turn their attention to WWDC.
You know what? Maybe that's what it is.
All eyes on Apple Music Classical. But anyway, speaking of music, I have a very small, quick thing I want to mention. So we've been talking about Spotify. I've been using Spotify so far in 2023 because of my new setup at home with the Echo, and we talked about that, Spotify Connect and all that conversation. So this week, I got a new Spotify design in the music section. So the way that Spotify now works, in the main home tab, you have two sections at the top that you can optionally click to sort of filter the main view. You have music, which is the first one, and podcasts and shows. If you don't click this, you stay in the main homepage design, which is a mix of all kinds of content. If you click into the music one, you just see music. This week, I got a new design. The thing is with Spotify, because they A/B test so many things, and because they roll out things to a subset of users in the US first and later in the rest of the world, I don't know if this is the TikTok-like design I'm supposed to get, but it's a video-based design. So and there's music playing with autoplay. So
it's doing as it should.
It's doing its thing. So, and I'm getting to this. So what I got this week, when I click into the music page, is there's a grid of recommendations at the very top, followed by Instagram-like auto-playing videos. They're like Instagram stories. They have like the little progress bar at the top, and you can tap, and you can switch back and forth between these videos, except they're not videos. Well, they are videos, but they are songs from a recommended album or playlist. And they autoplay, and it's very easy to flick through all of this. Like one swipe takes you to the next item. It automatically centers in the middle of the screen. Like, for example, now I scrolled, and it took me to a recommendation for the latest album by the 1975. And it's playing a song. If I tap, it takes me to the next song in the album, and so forth. Now, most people hate this, right? It's like, oh, why does Spotify need to, be similar to Instagram or be similar to TikTok? Now, I'm not sure this is the TikTok design everybody's talking about, because it's not full screen. I think the new one is supposed to be full screen, but it's new to me regardless. Like, I didn't have this before. It arrived a couple of days ago. And I gotta tell you, I don't hate it. Like, I actually find myself spending a lot of time just flicking through these recommendations and be like, oh yeah, this small snippet, it actually
looking at these images, Federico, like on the Verge website, I think it might be because the images that they're showing, they're not like proper full screen, but they have like the little lines.
Yeah,
like
I think so. I think I got.
Does.
So I think that's it. So I think that's what I got.
Yeah.
I sent you screenshots.
Yeah, this looks like what they released.
Okay,
so it looks like you've got that new design.
I gotta tell you, I kind of like it because it becomes a very quick way to see a bunch of recommendations, immediately get some feedback from your action because you hear a snippet of the song. You gotta believe that Spotify is using some kind of algorithm or AI to determine the snippet of the song that sounds more enticing and interesting to you. And it works. Like, you're flicking through and you're like, let me see this. And you hear 5 seconds and you're like, yeah, I wanna listen more of this. And so you click in and you start listening to the full playlist or maybe that specific song. It's actually quite nicely done. And that leads me to the bigger topic of what's worse? Trying something new every so often. I mean, Spotify tries a lot of designs. They have that sort of like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks sort of UI approach. They change things a lot. Some things don't make it to, the real version of Spotify for the masses, and some things they do. What's worse, doing that or being like Apple Music, which has been sort of stagnating for like 5 years at this point?
I mean, I guess it depends on your taste. It's like some people would want that, right? They would want the stagnant. So like, I don't remember what podcast I heard this on, but I thought it was just like an interesting thing of like, look, they're doing this for a reason, right? Like, they have the idea that people are going to like this. This kind of media is very popular in other places, and was, I'm sure, also like, like when stories came around, there were people that were like, "Oh, don't do this to my Instagram." And then when TikTok existed, and then Reels came around, it's like, "Please don't do this to my Instagram." But like everyone, keeps doing it, right? People keep consuming content this way. There is like the idea of what people think they want and what they actually do. Like the algorithmic stuff, and in general. Mm-hmm. And so like this is just another example of that. Like Spotify believe that this is an approach that will increase engagement, which is what they're looking for. Like new music, it gives them the ability to place kind of like paid music, like because music labels can pay Spotify to have their songs included in playlists. It's like one of the ways Spotify actually makes money, and so it gives them another avenue to do that. I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. I like Apple Music's simplicity, but I know this wouldn't be for me because I'm not a new music person.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're not.
But it's like I have people in my life that are very good with music, and they tell me stuff that's good, and that's how I let new music into my life. Right? You, John and my wife, like you were people that care about finding new music.
She uses Spotify, right?
She loves Spotify, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because she loves the playlists.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so she finds new songs in the playlists. She hearts them. It goes into like this awesome playlist that she has of her liked songs, which she then curates, like adds and removes stuff over time. It's a great playlist. We play it a lot at home. It's like one of my favorite playlists. But like that's how, and then I find new music that way. Like I'm not really like I want to explore and find new stuff kind of person. Like I just let music in that way. Like I think most people in their mid-30s, right? Like I think it is rarer in our age to be on the hunt for new music. I think typically people find their music in their 20s, right? And then like that's their music, and that's kind of where I am, but I let little bits in here and there. And so like this whole thing is just not made for me. It's made for people who like to discover music, and I'm just not necessarily one of these people. Stephen, where do you stand on this?
I don't use Spotify, but I don't like the new design, and I am much more like you than Federico when it comes to music. I think I'm in between you, but I think I'm closer to you in terms of I mostly listen to stuff that I discovered from age 17 to 23, but I branch out some.
But I think this design really is tailored to the type of person that Federico is, right? Which is like, this is a quick way for you to get the hooks of new songs. Yeah. And if you like those hooks, maybe you will like more from this artist. And so like, if I actually think that if that's what they're going for, which they are, right? Like this is a good way to demonstrate that, right? Like, because as well, like I know people like this. I don't like that Spotify's now playing screen is typically music videos.
Yeah.
Like that really annoys me. Like I don't want that.
It's
like,
very nice. It's very cool looking.
If you like that, like that's good, and that only further makes this a good thing for you, right? Where like it's more music video stuff, and it's like quick hooks of songs, and you can get an idea if you're gonna like them. It's like a good like way to like triage a bunch of new music. Like I think this will work for them. Even though a lot of the like public opinion is like, don't put TikTok in my Spotify. And it's like, yeah, well, stop using TikTok then. You know what I mean? Like you're using TikTok. And so that's why they're doing this. If you didn't want that, they wouldn't do this. But you want that, so they're doing this. You know?
This episode of Connected is brought to you by the award-winning to-do app, Things. If you're an Apple Shortcuts user, you're going to love the latest update to Things. The team has adopted the new App Intents framework and added 9 new actions that greatly extend what's possible. In fact, you can completely automate your workflow with Things on Mac, iPad, and iPhone. Mike, you've been playing with this. What are your thoughts on it?
Yes. Hello, my name is Mike Hurley, and I'm here to tell you how good the new shortcuts actions are in Things. So one of the things that I really like that they've done, they've built a little shortcuts gallery. So they have this page on their website where they have a selection of shortcuts that they've built, and you can like add these pre-built ones that they're using their new intents to build them. And the one that I've been getting a ton of great use out of is their duplicate template project action that they've built. So you can make like project somewhere, right? Like in your Things, like you can just create a project and then designate that in a shortcut as to duplicate. And so it will create a new project with all of these things like unchecked. And so I use this, like one of the ways that I use Things the most, the place that I do use it the most is I have like a very long checklist of things that I do when I publish an episode of Cortex. That's what I've now rebuilt with Things in this new template project duplication shortcut that they've made. So it's part of the overall shortcut that I run. So I press a shortcut when I'm editing the show, it starts a timer, fires off this shortcut, opens Things, and gives me this long checklist of things that I've got to do, which is super awesome. But like, I really like the way that they've done this. I love that they've gone back to basics and redone their shortcuts. They've done some really great stuff. But the duplicate template project action is definitely my favorite.
That's really cool. And it is part of, like you said, a wider effort on the part of Things to really embrace shortcuts. I think every app should do this. I think Things has done a really great job of it. Some other examples, you can create full-blown projects, edit existing data in the app. You mentioned the template project stuff. You can grab links to your items. And of course, you can move data into Things from other apps or send data back out. If you head on over to the website, like Mike said, there's this awesome gallery of shortcuts to show you what's possible. That's thingsapp.com. to check them out. You can also download a free trial for macOS while you're there. Things is renowned for its fantastic design, but you can see the app packs a lot of power too. And the team has added loads of other great features over the years that you should check out. Head on over to their website, thingsapp.com, to learn all about these great features and download that free trial for the Mac. Of course, you'll also find it in the App Store. Just search for Things. Whatever it is you want to accomplish in life, Things can help you get there. Try Things today at things.app. You won't regret it. Our thanks to Things from Cultured Code for sponsoring Connected and all of Relay FM.
So I have a surprise topic for the show.
Yeah, sure you do.
I was waiting for the sound effect. Let's go.
Go on.
Let's quiz it up.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, seriously, this is something else. So on last week's episode, right, we were talking a lot about AR and VR stuff. Stephen, you weren't here, but
I listened. It's great.
I know that you listened. You always listen. You're good like that. So we were talking a lot about like working in VR, and I had some experiences that I wanted to share.
Oh, so this is not the quiz. See?
Welcome back to the Quizzies, where I, Mike Hurley, quiz my connected co-hosts randomly and by surprise on a variety of varying subjects. My name is Mike Hurley, as I mentioned. Your competitors, Stephen Hackett and Federico Vitici. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to my podcast within a podcast. Stephen, in 2023, you're at 440 points so far that you have allocated. Federico, you were in the lead this year with 530 points due to your great work with emoji guessing in the Jeremys. Today, we are going to be doing round 2 of Do the Passionate Ones Know You?
Okay.
I asked our audience, the passionate ones, to answer a selection of questions. I have totaled their answers, and I will need you to guess what results they are most likely to have given to those questions. There are 5 total answers available for each question, with points available starting at 50 points for the most popular answer, then going down to 40, 30, 20, 10. I have 8 questions today.
8.
Ooh.
Okay.
So they're in pairs like last time, right? So we are going to start today with what phone does Federico use, then we will move on to what phone does Stephen use, and we go on from there. So, are you ready to begin with round 2 of the passionate ones?
Yes.
So I asked the connected audience, the passionate ones, what phone does Federico Vitici use? That was the question. What phone does Federico Vitici use? Stephen, I've forgotten how I do this. Who goes first? Is it the person? I think the person losing should go first.
Okay.
And I think that's the way that I would do it now, and then throughout the game, whoever's winning, losing in the game will get the first guesses on each question. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I will ask you, Stephen, what phone does Federico use?
The iPhone 14 Pro Max.
And I should say at this point, no colors, sizes of like storage or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right?
iPhone 14 Pro Max.
The iPhone 14 Pro Max. That was the top answer.
Yeah.
50 points. Go to Stephen. But look, you need to remember, something being correct is not necessarily what people will say.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so I'm going to go next and guess the other answers to this question.
Oh, yeah. There are 5 answers available.
But they are incorrect.
It doesn't matter. Again, okay, I feel like I need to restate this because this is important, especially for this particular game. I know we had some setup issues last time similar to this. I have asked a question. What people have answered is what they have answered. It does not matter if they are correct. Like, Stephen not only got the top answer, it was the correct answer.
But it just happened to be the correct answer.
It just happened to be. Lots of people gave different answers to that question.
I'm just surprised they don't know the answer to this. Like, how do the people don't know which one
I will tell you, this was the highest answer at 61.7%.
Nice.
But there are 39% of people that thought you were using a different phone.
Interesting. Okay. I am really struggling here. I'm gonna say iPhone 14 Pro.
That is the second highest answer. 26% of people believe that you are using an iPhone 14 Pro right now.
26% of people don't know me. Okay.
Okay.
Well, it's more than that. It's like 39%.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with iPhone 13 mini. Those people are always projecting, their love of small phones onto other people. So I think it's happened to Federico.
You are projecting this time, Stephen. That is not one of the top 5 answers.
I was projecting their projection is what's happened.
There was 3 people who said iPhone 13 mini. One person said iPhone 14 mini, which doesn't exist.
That's not a phone.
It's not a phone.
Okay, I'm going to say iPhone 13 Pro Max.
That is the third highest answer. I have a theory on this, right? That some people forget what number it is.
Are we on the 13 or 14 now? I don't know.
And people just forget because 20 people said iPhone 13 Pro Max.
I'm going to go with iPhone 13 Pro.
And you would be right to get the fourth highest answer. That is 20 points available to Stephen.
So there's the final answer.
The final answer for 10 points is still available.
I'm going to go with a Google Pixel 7.
One person said Google Pixel 5,
Okay.
which again, interesting. That is not in the highest answers there. I'm going to give you one more guess each.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the regular iPhone 14.
Mm.
Can I change it or too late?
No, it's locked in. Like, what would you have even changed it to?
The Plus.
Okay, iPhone 14 is not in the top highest answers.
My final answer is going to be nothing.
Always a good one, but not in this instance.
Okay. What was it?
It's all iPhone.
iPhone? Like the original one?
I don't know, but 11 people said iPhone, so I have to just go with what they're saying. They just said iPhone.
Okay.
So at the end of that round, we're on 70 points each.
Ooh.
So because we're tying, I'm going to be kind and going to give this one over to Federico for the first guess. Federico, what phone does Stephen use?
What phone does Stephen use?
Federico, I'll ask you as well. What phone does Stephen use? Do you know?
With all the flip-flop, I actually lost track.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's good. Well, that's good to know. So it's not just me. I'm going to go with iPhone 14 Pro.
Stephen, do you use the iPhone 14 Pro?
What's up for the listeners to decide, really, isn't it?
No, but I just want to know the answer to
What's
that
your
now. Now it's been
phone?
put on the table. Do you actually use the iPhone 14 Pro?
I'm on the 14 Pro Max.
Wait.
Ooh, okay.
Did you start out with that?
Silent flip-flop.
Did you do that?
You didn't tell her. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, you know what, Federico? I bet he told Mac Power users. You know what I mean?
They're nicer to me than y'all are.
David's not nice to you. He makes fun of you all the time. The passionate ones agreed with Federico. The top answer was the iPhone 14 Pro, which I actually believe is the answer that they should have known because Stephen hid his 14 Pro Max.
He said, I'm getting
When did
an
you do
iPhone
that?
14 Pro.
It's not important.
When did you do that?
It was
did
really
you break
recently.
your iPhone?
No. It was a situation where someone needed a phone, and I helped him out.
A situation. A situation.
A situation was me because I dropped my iPhone in a canyon.
I haven't broken a 14 of any size.
Well, you broke into the wrapping on a 14 Pro Max, didn't you?
You broke our hearts, though.
Why did you go from Pro to Pro Max?
Come on, with all the secrecy, you're worse than me with my secret articles.
I don't know about that. Let's not go that far. Stephen, you're up.
iPhone 14 Pro Max.
Not only are you correct, that is the second highest answer. You see what I'm saying, Federico? Your outrage at first, right? Of like, what's the right answer? There was no way for people to know.
Yeah. I see what you mean now.
So we come back around to you.
I'm going to go with the iPhone 13 Pro.
The iPhone 13 Pro is the fourth highest answer, getting you 20 points.
iPhone 13 Pro Max.
The iPhone 13 Pro Max is not on the list.
Whoa.
Okay.
iPhone 13 Pro Max, that was what you said, right?
Yep.
Was said by 7 people.
Wow.
Okay. I'm going to go with iPhone.
Nice. Not enough.
Ah.
Unbelievably, right? 9 people said it, which was less than the 11 that said it for you, Federico.
Okay.
Wild.
Yep.
I'm going to say the iPhone. I'm going to go back to the Mini, the iPhone 13 Mini.
That was the 3rd highest answer, netting you 30 points. You've never owned one of those, right?
No, my wife uses one, and we'll use it for all time, I think.
I'm going to give you one more guess each. There is one more iPhone on the list, the 10 points, which is the 5th highest answer.
I'm going to go with iPhone 14.
That is it.
Okay.
Got it. That was the 10-point answer. Let me see. I've got some other interesting highlights on this one. We had iPhone 3GS. There was... Oh, this happened on yours, Federico, as well. Multiple iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro Max.
That's
iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max. I don't know if these people think you have secret access or if they have also just lost the plot of where the numbers are. We had one Palm.
And really, that's on Apple, right? That's not on the listeners. That's on Apple.
Yeah. But for both of you, one person said banana phone, and I don't really know what that means. Yeah, banana phone.
I don't know.
As usual, there are always people in these answers who treat it like their own stand-up special, who give very funny answers.
No, I see. Okay.
That only I ever read, because most of them I will never read aloud. Please stop doing that. At the end of the second round, Stephen is at 140 points. Federico is at 150 points.
Ooh.
Okay.
So now we move into what watch does Federico wear?
Who's going first?
This will be for Stephen because he is behind you.
I'm going to say, and thinking about when these questions were asked, the Apple Watch Series 7.
Good gameplay, my friend.
Yeah.
That is 50 points to you.
I'm going to go with Apple Watch Series 8.
That is 40 points for Federico.
I'm going to say the Apple Watch Series 6.
That is not on the list.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Apple Watch Ultra.
20 points for Federico.
Which
there were
one
just
is it?
an amount of people who were just like, he's on that train, even though at that time you were not.
Is it the 4th highest answer or the 3rd?
That was the 4th highest answer, yes.
So the 3rd and the 5th one are still missing.
Correct.
Okay.
How did you word the question again?
What watch does Federico wear?
I'm going to say no watch.
That is 30 points, the 3rd highest answer. No watch or he doesn't.
I'm going to go with... So you said the 6 was not on the list.
Correct.
And no... So basically the equivalent of nothing is already in the list.
Yeah, I will run through what we got. The highest answer was Apple Watch Series 7. Second highest answer was Apple Watch Series 8. The 3rd highest answer was no watch, or he doesn't wear one. The 4th highest answer was Apple Watch Ultra. The 5th highest answer is what's left on the board.
I'm going to go with Apple Watch SE.
Not one person wrote in to say
That's
that.
what I was going to go next. If you didn't guess, I'm going to say. Do I have another pick, or are we done?
I'm going to give you both one more.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to say like traditional watch, like a non-smart watch.
Like an analog watch or something like that.
Yeah.
This was split a little bit. Like lots of people giving brand names or whatever. That is not enough to get it on the board.
I mean, if the Series 6 is not on the list and analog watch is not, no watch is not, it's not the SE. I don't know. I'm going with Apple Watch Series 4.
Nobody said it.
Okay. What was it?
There was one person said Series 3. 4 people said Series 5.
Oh, was it an Android thing?
No. You should have consulted previous questions because the 5th highest answer for 10 points was Apple Watch. It's that old one again.
Okay.
We got a few people saying 2 Apple Watches. One person said sweatshirt and jeans. There was someone didn't understand this question because for both of them they answered the kind of clothes that you wear. which I don't know. I don't know what happened with this individual. But they maybe there's like a phrase that I'm not aware of. One person thought that you were wearing a Disney Gucci grip, which I don't even know what that means.
That sounds cool.
It sounds cool though, but that wasn't for you. And one person said something Italian.
Okay.
Which may have not been a bad, may not.
Yeah.
So we now finish that round. It's very close today. Federico on 210 points, Stephen on 220 points.
Okay.
So Federico, we go to you now.
All right.
For what watch does Stephen wear?
I'm going to go with Apple Watch Ultra.
And you would get the highest answer, 50 points in your pocket.
Okay.
82.2% of people said that. They got you.
The passionate ones know you, Stephen.
Yeah, big orange,
They knew that.
I'm going to say Apple Watch Series 7.
It is on the board. It is the third highest answer. 30 points for you.
I'm going to go with Apple Watch Series 8.
That is the fourth highest answer. 40 points for Federico.
Traditional watch.
That is not on the list.
I'm going to go with...
There are actually less people that said this for Stephen than Federico. Like traditional analog watch or whatever.
Can you go over the board again, Mike?
The top three have been given so far. Apple Watch Ultra, Series 8, Series 7. Let me tell you, by the way, if you read the word series like 500 times, it just loses all meaning.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at it now, like in the list of answers, like because I have this like long list of every answer that gets calculated. The word series is a weird word.
It's a weird word. I'm gonna go with the Apple Watch.
Good memory. 20 points.
Okay.
It's the fourth highest answer. Federico's cleaning up in this round.
Yeah, it's not great.
Federico scored 110 points in this question.
So where are the answers in the slots?
You have the fifth highest answer left at 10 points.
Okay. And we've said Ultra,
Series 8, Series 7,
7,
and Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And it was not traditional watch.
That's the only answer that is incorrect.
I'm gonna say the Series 4.
Nobody said that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you one more each.
No Apple Watch.
Oh, nearly a clean sweep for Federico as he picks up the 10-point answer.
Wait. I said traditional.
Yeah, that's not none.
He said no Apple Watch. What's the difference?
Well, none. No watch.
Nothing. That one.
Yeah.
No watch.
Yeah.
I take that as no watch.
Well, that's not really what he gets.
I know, but it's the same thing. Like no watch, right? I know, but I'm giving him the points.
Collusion.
Potentially, yeah. So at the end of that round, Stephen has 250 points. Federico has pulled away with 330 points.
Okay, how much again? I'm sorry.
250 for Stephen.
250?
330 for Federico.
Okay, that's not bad.
This episode of Connected is made possible by NetSuite. Being a business owner or working closely with business owners means knowing your numbers. And if your business earns millions or even tens of millions in revenue, stop what you're doing and take a listen, because NetSuite by Oracle has just sold out their best offer. NetSuite gives you visibility and control that you need to make better decisions faster. And for the first time in NetSuite's 22 years as the #1 cloud financial system, you can defer payments on a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. That's no payment and no interest for 6 months, and you can take advantage of the special financing offer today. NetSuite is #1 because they give your business everything you need in real time, all in one place. To reduce manual processes, boost efficiency, build forecast, and increase productivity across every department. Having all the information you need in one place makes it so much easier to make decisions. I know as a business owner what a difference that can make and how much easier everything is when things are operating with information available, information at the surface. It means you can make those decisions more quickly and you can make better decisions. This NetSuite offer is extraordinary. So join the 33,000 companies who have already upgraded to NetSuite and gained visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. If you've been sizing NetSuite up to make the switch, you know this deal is unprecedented. No interest, no payments. Take advantage of this special offer at netsuite.com/connected. That's netsuite.com/connected. netsuite.com/connected. There you can gain the visibility and control you need to weather any storm. Our thanks to NetSuite for the support of the show and Relay FM.
The Gucci grip is a weird looking watch.
It's not good.
Don't like
it's not
it.
good.
I don't understand why it's called grip, and I don't understand why it looks the way that it does.
It looks like an old-timey weight scale.
Yes. Yes.
We will now go to Stephen for the first guess of the question. What is Federico's preferred iPad?
The 12.9-inch iPad Pro.
That is the top answer. 50 points.
Are we separating by size in this category?
For the iPad Pros, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go with 11-inch iPad Pro.
That is the 40-point answer.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a good way to answer that question, so I can't. It's just like, yes, we are.
I'm gonna go to the humble iPad Mini.
Now, Federico, do you use the iPad Mini?
No.
Well, it's the third highest answer. 30 points go to Stephen.
I'm going to go with iPad Air.
That is the 20-point answer. You guys are clearing up. So we go back to you, Stephen. Can you make it a full round the board?
So that's a lot of pressure. So we've said 12.9, 11-inch.
iPad Mini.
We said iPad Air. We said iPad Mini.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say iPad. Just iPad.
Close. That would have been the sixth highest answer.
Wait, what?
No, I'll tell you. It would have been. There's no points available to it. If that, with the amount of replies that it got, it would have been 6. What I will tell you right now is what we are looking for has 0.4% of responses. 3 people answered this compared to the
That's
500
tough.
people who said 12.9-inch. Federico, this is your guess.
Are there other iPads? Steven just said just iPad, right?
Yeah.
So that would be 2 people that said just iPad.
Yeah.
An iPad Mini has already been mentioned. I'm gonna go with no iPad.
One person said no iPad.
That person knows Federico the least.
I'm going to give you guys another go around on this one because this is fun for me.
Okay.
So, Stephen, you're back.
So it's got to be like a really specific answer, I feel like. I'm going to say 2018 iPad Pro.
No, that didn't. No. Yeah. I
Too specific.
didn't
I
include
went too far
model
down the
years.
hole.
I did crunch together the model years.
Okay.
Federico, you had the final guess in this round.
The question was about iPads, right?
The question was, what is Federico's preferred iPad?
Preferred iPad. I mean, I don't know. I'm out of answers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say Surface Pro.
For this one, everybody did answer some kind of iPad,
Okay.
right? Except for the 5th highest answer, where 3 people said all of them.
Nice. Okay.
Which, in their defense, at a certain point, has been true,
Yes,
right? Where all of these 4 have been your preferred iPad at
Yes.
different times.
Who's flip-flopping now, boy?
Yeah. That's a
Indeed.
very good answer. Okay.
We finished that round with Stephen at 330 points, Federico at 390 points. So Stephen did some good clawing back there as we go to the next question, which predictably is, what is Stephen's preferred iPad? And we will go with Stephen as the first guess.
Wait, always Steven first?
Because you're beating him.
iPad Mini.
50 points in your pocket.
11-inch iPad Pro.
40 points in your pocket. That's the second highest answer.
iPad Air.
Man, you guys are going fast. I haven't even got time to put the answers in the sheet yet. Yes, that was the third highest answer. That gave me a minute there. I got a second there to put the answers in.
I'm gonna go with iPad.
3 people said iPad. That is not enough.
No iPad.
10 points.
That's the 5th one, so the 4th one is
That
still
is the
missing.
5th highest answer. The 4th highest answer for 20 points is still available.
I'm going with the big iPad Pro, the 12.9.
That was it. Yeah, you guys did good on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of that round, Steven's at 420 points. He's blazing it.
Nice.
Federico's at 450 points. Still in the lead, but that lead is shrinking.
Well, I mean, he keeps going first, so,
Yeah, boy.
Well, you continue to lead.
There should be a rule where you can only go first like twice in a row or something. Otherwise, there's no point in winning the previous games.
Sure there is. So
anyway,
I will just say to that he has gone first, but you have also gotten 50-point answers.
Yeah.
Meaning he's still not getting them. That's the rule. We can evaluate the rule at a different time. We go into the next round, which is what is Federico's preferred Mac? Steven, you go first.
Mac Mini.
50-point answer.
None.
10 points for Federico.
Yeah.
I thought that'd been higher, honestly. MacBook Air.
30 points. That is the third highest answer for Steven.
MacBook Pro.
You're going to ask for more.
14-inch.
That is it. 40 points for Federico. We have the fourth highest answer on the board. 20 points available.
16-inch MacBook Pro.
Ooh.
12 people said 16-inch MacBook Pro. That does not put it on the top 5.
The fourth is missing?
The fourth is missing.
Can you go over the list again, please?
Sure can. The highest answer was Mac Mini, then 14-inch MacBook Pro, then MacBook Air, then our missing answer, and then none.
I'm going to go with iMac.
I think this is kind of surprising. Nobody said iMac.
Huh. Well, because
There's not one in there.
never mentioned it.
That's rough.
Oh, no, I'm incorrect. There's 5. I just missed it. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, but 5 people said iMac.
So Mac Mini 14, 16. There's not a lot of Macs left. The Mac Pro.
3 people said Mac Pro.
I'm going with Mac Studio.
That was what was left. The fourth highest
my
answer
God.
for 20 points.
I never mentioned the Mac Studio in my life. Okay, all right. Anyway.
And then at the end of that round, 500 points apiece.
Wow.
So we go into the final question.
Okay.
What is Steven's preferred Mac? Federico, you're up first.
What is he even using at this point?
Who could tell? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I'm torn between two. How would the passionate ones respond? Okay, Mac Pro.
That is the second highest answer.
Yeah, okay.
40 points.
Mac Studio.
That is the top answer. 50 points. There are 3 more answers left on the board.
14-inch MacBook Pro.
The 14-inch MacBook Pro is not in our top 5. 13 people wrote in.
Wow.
That's wild.
But it is not there.
MacBook
That
Air.
is the third highest answer. 30 points. We have the fourth and fifth highest answer left.
Mac Mini.
Mac Mini. 3 people said
Wow.
Mac Mini. That is not enough. There were a lot of answers for this one, by the way. Like a lot of write-ins.
I'm sure some people were like the Performa 6400.
It was
right? I mean,
split significantly.
I'm going to give the 16-inch MacBook Pro a shot.
It's not there.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the iMacs that Steven collected. The plastic. What was it called?
The iMac G3.
Yeah, that one.
The iMac G3 is the fourth highest answer. That is 20 points for Federico.
Okay.
That's so good.
There's 1 left. I'll say this Mac left here, right, was very close to making it into Federico's top 5, but it didn't.
Man, see, that opens the door, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I will tell you that gives you nothing, right? But it nearly made it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that's interesting. 1-port MacBook, 12-inch MacBook.
Nope.
I'm gonna go with the Cube.
That was it.
Yes.
G4 Cube.
Yes.
Come on!
Yes.
I'm not even mad. That's awesome.
The G4 Cube. But this is the fun thing. So the G4 Cube for Steven, where is it? 27 people wrote in. For Federico, it was 18 people.
Love those people. Love those people.
There's some incredible answers in here. We've got the SE30.
Good. I'm not that old. Come on.
One person who just says it varies with the wind, where really that should have been the top answer. We got, there were a lot of Mac Pro answers in here. Like, Mac Pro came super close to being number one. Like, very, very close. There were it was 5 responses different between making those 1 and 2.
See, that's why I was torn.
Yeah, you were super close. Yeah. Like, it was a very good...
yeah, that's really good.
I guess one person said Trash Can Mac Pro, which would have made it even closer, but I didn't lump those in. I should have, but I missed that one. But yeah, super close.
Okay.
So at the end of that round...
Okay.
Federico scored 570 points. Stephen scored 580 points.
Wow.
Super close.
Wow.
At the end of these quizzes, Stephen is at 1,020, Federico 1,100.
Okay. Wow.
Thank you very much for participating and listening to this edition of the Quizzies. The Quizzies will return at some point in the future.
I'm exhausted. Okay.
Yeah, the Quizzies take a lot out of us. I agree with you, Federico.
Yeah, it is. Please wrap it up. I'm done. Yeah, I can imagine. Yes. Okay.
That's why I needed the Red Bull.
Did you just open another one?
That's me with water because I'm exhausted. No. That's
okay. I was gonna say, what are you doing?
Regular water, just water.
We're at the end of the show. Don't have another Red Bull. Because we're at the end of the show, I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I tell you at the end of the show. We have links to the stories we spoke about on the web and in your podcast player. On the web, they're at relay.fm/connected/441. There's a couple of things you can do in both places. You can leave follow-up or feedback. There's a submit a feedback link on the web and in the show notes. And that goes into our system, and it's where follow-up and other things come from. Thank you all who've been using that tool. It's been really awesome to see. You can also join and get Connected Pro, which is a longer ad-free version of the show each and every week. This week we spoke about a drink that was invented to save me from social embarrassment. It's incredible. You can find us all online. Federico is the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net, head of the whole MacStories extended universe. You can follow him at mastodon.macstories.net as Vitici. Mike is the co-host of a bunch of other shows here on Relay FM. He's also the co-founder and product designer at Cortex Brand. And you can find him at mike.social. He's iMike over there. You can find me every Sunday on Mac Power Users, and I write 512pixels.net. And I am ISMH at eworld.social on Mastodon. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Squarespace, Things from Cultured Code, and NetSuite. And until next week, guys, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.